You're watching the RebZone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Straight ahead in the RebZone, the Rebels visit Ohio State.
You understand what great teamwork is? It's 11 guys doing their job.
We're breaking down the game in the horseshoe with some good spots and some rough ones. Plus, a preview of this Saturday's home game against San Jose State. And we sit down with senior wide receiver Devonte Boyd to talk about how his time at UNLV has changed his life. So, Coach, how should we all watch the RebZone?
Play it, reset. Play it, reset. Over and over and over.
Do that, and you'll be up to speed on everything UNLV football right now.
This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Good evening. Welcome inside the RebZone. Kevin Bolinger alongside UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez, coming off a game in Columbus against Ohio State. Going in, running was going to be tough to get yardage-wise, and it proved to be the case. That is a tough front to get through.
Yeah, we had talked about that throughout the course of the week and even in the media, that we had to find a way to be able to run the ball early if we were going to be able to have a chance in this game, and we really struggled doing that. They were a big physical front. We got to do a little bit better of a job getting bodies on bodies and creating seams in there, and we just weren't able to do it early. We kind of were kind of relegated to just throwing the ball, down the football field, and got some, took advantage of some situations, but it was tough sledding.
Let's take a closer look at this one. We're going to start in the first half, where Ohio State came out firing.
It ain't any bigger than the 6 seconds in front of our face. You understand that? Reset. Play it, reset. Play it, reset. Over and over and over for 4 freaking quarters.
What are the men of the UNLV offensive line right now? What are we made of? What's our substance? We'll find out. Let's go.
What a great group of young men. You busted your damn ass. This is another great opportunity and many more to come. Let's grow. Let's be physical. Let's live in this 6 seconds. Let's go out there and play rebel damn football. You understand that, guys?
More than 106,000 people packed the horseshoe for the Buckeyes and the Rebels. UNLV won the toss and had the ball first. 3rd and 5 at their own 20. Armani Rogers hits Devonte Boyd for 12 yards and a first, but the drive would stall and Ohio State unleashed its offense. Second play from scrimmage, J.T. Barrett swings it out to Paris Campbell, who breaks free down the right sideline and races 69 yards for a touchdown. It was quickly 7-0. UNLV moved the ball into Buckeye territory with a chance to answer, but Rogers was sacked on 3rd down for a 9-yard loss, and that created a 52-yard field goal attempt that Evan Pantels can't convert. Ohio State scored right away as Barrett went across the middle to Johnny Dixon for the score. Late in the first quarter, Barrett hit Campbell, who gets hit and fumbles near the goal line. UNLV recovered at the 2, but on the first play from scrimmage, Lexington Thomas is stuffed. He doesn't get the ball completely across the goal line, and it's a safety. On the free kick, Campbell gets in the clear. He takes it down to the 8. On 4th and goal at the 3, the fade to Benjamin Victor, and that would make it 23-0 Ohio State. The Buckeyes scored 2 more times to open it up to 37-0 when UNLV finally got on the board, putting together an 83-yard drive capped by Thomas, hitting a wall at the line of scrimmage and then bouncing out of the pack and stretching for the pylon for the touchdown. But it was a frustrating first half for the Rebels as both teams went into the locker room with UNLV down 44-7.
The size and depth advantage for Ohio State, we knew going in. Until you see it on the field, the speed really was the difference because their big guys can close gaps in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, they're a very talented, big and physical team, and the amount of depth they have, and like you said, they're not just big guys, they're great athletes, and It was tough, and there's some frustrating things. The second drive that we had the football, we got down in a situation where we're in a manageable field goal, if not, an opportunity to score a touchdown, and we ended up having a false start, and then we get a sack, puts us into a really long field goal situation. And then their first opportunity there, when you saw that big 60-some-odd yard touchdown run after the swing pass, you see a missed tackle on there. And, as good as they are, those are the little things you got to take care of and be able to manage. I mean, it's going to be tough, winning a ball game like that as it is with the players that they have. So you got to execute the things that you can control. And early on, whether it was nerves or whatever the situation was, we didn't execute at a high level in those situations, and it was a tough half.
You brought up the missed tackle on that one play, and there were a series of missed tackles in this game. Does that fall under the size speed advantage or technique, or maybe a combination of both?
It's a combination of both. I mean, one of the hardest things to do is tackle a great athlete in space. However, you need to do that, and there were times where, we had opportunities to wrap guys up and bring them down, and they just out-physical with us. So we got to do a better job at that, and we got to talk about it, and we got to coach it, and we got to work on it.
You did get a touchdown late in the first half. Mm-hmm. How important was that to settle everybody in going into the second half, saying, all right, we know what the score is. Let's just go out and do what we got to do and compete here for 30 minutes.
Well, that was the whole thing. Just compete. Keep competing. Play every play. Don't worry about how good it was or how bad it was. Just keep competing. And our guys did that for 4 quarters. Again, we didn't play great football. We did play against a really good team. We got to find a way to, be more competitive than that. But our guys kept fighting. So that was a great drive to put a drive together, before the half ended, and to get Lexington in the end zone, and then, come out in the second half, get a stop, do the same thing. So those are important things.
Let's go to the second half, where the Rebels put up a strong showing in the final 30 minutes.
The Buckeyes had the ball to start the second half and rolled out a lot of their twos. The defense made a nice stand to start the final 30 minutes as quarterback Dwayne Haskins is sacked by Roger Mann to force a punt. UNLV started at their own 8, and it looked like they would go 3 and out. But Ohio State gets a roughing the kicker penalty on Pantels to keep the drive alive. Rogers goes sideline to Boyd for 12 yards to get it to the 41. 2 plays later, Thomas bursts through the hole, and he has all kinds of daylight, pulling away for a 55-yard touchdown run. That would cut the lead to 44-14. Ohio State kicked a field goal and then got the ball back after a punt. Haskins finds Rashad Berry, and the big man rumbles in for a 38-yard touchdown to make it 54-14 heading into the fourth quarter. The Buckeyes had a 3rd and 15 at UNLV's 37. Haskins flings it out left, and the Rebels' Javen White is there for the pick, and he is gone. 65 yards the other way for the touchdown. It was 54-21. The defense was solid the rest of the way, not giving up another score. For the game, though, the stats were lopsided in the passing attack as the Buckeyes threw for 474 yards, and they outgained the Rebels 664 to 264. UNLV falls at the Horseshoe 54-21.
At the end of the day, it's a loss for the team. So it's all about the team, regardless of what I do, what Armani does. If it doesn't go in the win or loss towel, we wouldn't. It doesn't matter.
Just go out there and just make certain type of passes that I wasn't quite so used to playing against shorter defenders. So just tested out my athleticism out there and just being able to jump, those sidearm passes, being able to just maneuver different techniques.
We need to win. Winning is our main objective. Everybody goes into a game talking about winning. We want to win. So regardless of how the stat sheet looks, if it defines as a win or loss, that's what happens.
So UNLV outscores Ohio State 14-10 in the second half. They do very well against the Buckeyes 2s, which quite frankly would be starters on most every Mountain West team. How encouraging is that moving forward, seeing the way that you guys competed in the second half?
Well, it's good. I mean, you got to show fight. Again, you're in a tough situation coming out of that locker room. You want to see the way your kids respond. And we got a lot of our 2s in there too. Javen's a 2, did a great job coming in and making big plays. And we got Kurt Palandek in there. It was great to get him in early in the game, get Armani out a little bit. he was a little tired, and get Kurt in and some of these other guys. You saw Evan Owens get the ball, in the second half and do a pretty good job with it. So it was important just for our guys to go out there and continue to compete and continue to play hard, and they did. In a real tough situation, coming out with 2 quarters left to go. And then, like Javen said there, that's the message we talk about all the time. The goal is to win football games here, and this is. A rebuild is a messy job, and you fix one leak and another one springs, you fix another leak and another one springs, and our job is to keep plumbing away and to fix all the leaks, and eventually we'll get this thing right. But it's those attitudes, like you just heard from Javen there, the understanding of what the mission is. The mission is to win football games and get better.
One of the keys, I know, going into this game was to try and come out as injury-free as possible, and there were a couple key injuries in that game. Pantel's left, but more importantly, center Zach Singer also left. Where are we at with the extent of those injuries and those guys moving forward?
We'll know a little bit more on Monday, once we get through a full day of treatment and sitting down with the docs and everything. So Zach, I would say he's doubtful right now. We don't know. It was pretty swollen last night when we got on the plane. Pantel's, we pulled him out because he wasn't feeling too good. That leg after he got roughed, he was kind of messed up a little bit, but we'll see on that one. And then Keys, he kind of came out early too with another ankle injury, but he was walking better by the time we got to the plane, and he was better in the facility today, so I think he'll be okay.
Center situation now, if Singer can't go, is a bit of a jumble because you have somebody who got hurt in spring practice that's not quite ready to come back, right? So you're going to have to do a little shuffling?
Yeah, so Sitacosta, was the guy that we brought in to play center, and he ended up getting an ACL. He's about a week or 2 away, I believe, from being released and out to practice. So if Zach's down, Geandre Sanders, who started here before, he's a senior, does a really good job, finished the game last night. He'll go on in, and then but who's the backup now? Now we got to get creative. Nathan Jacobson's taking snaps there. We've done some different things. That puts Donovan Outlaw in a tackle spot. So, again, at least we have the pieces to be able to do it.
All right, we're going to take our first break right now. When we come back, we're going to push ahead to this week as the Rebels return home and get ready for San Jose State. What are the keys to beating the Spartans? Find out in just 2 minutes as the Red Zone rolls on.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
After a month away from Sam Boyd Stadium, the Rebels return home this Saturday to open conference play against San Jose State.
While this is UNLV's Mountain West opener, San Jose State already has a conference game under its belt after hosting Utah State last Saturday. This after coming off a brutal non-conference schedule that included games against South Florida, Texas, and Utah. It's already taken a toll as quarterback Montel Aaron is hobbling on a bad knee, and the Spartans have already used 3 quarterbacks this season, including Josh Love, who started 3 of the 5 games so far. But San Jose likes to go up-tempo, which can keep teams off balance.
The main thing is we're running up-tempo this year. We're running really fast. We're trying to get up the line, run a play as fast as we can. We all have the playbook down really well, so we know what plays we're going to run, when we're going to run them. It's going to be a very exciting offense to watch.
That up-tempo game has also brought major issues. The offense has had trouble staying on the field, and the Spartan defense has been on the field for more snaps than nearly every team in the country, which has led to being worn down. The Rebels need to continue that trend, wear down the defense, and then strike. The Spartans have been decent against the pass, but the Rebels have shown they can run the football effectively. You can't put enough importance on a conference opener. A fast start and a home win can springboard this team to a big season in the West Division.
So San Jose State had their conference opener yesterday against Utah State, and it was a 61-10 blowout that San Jose State lost. This is a team that's going to come in maybe a little bit with a chip on their shoulder, but we talked about that defense being worn down. They were on the field a lot again last night. That's got to be long, sustained drives, a key for you guys as well.
Yeah, and that's the one, there's a lot of advantages to that fast-paced no huddle. That's one of the disadvantages. If you're 3 and out in a bunch, your defense is on the field for a lot of plays, and they've had that. They played an onslaught, of the schedule, though, starting off. So, it's one of those deals where, I'm sure they're going to be pretty ornery after, yesterday's game. And, well, for us, too, we're feeling the same way. I mean, we had a tough game the last time we were at home. it's time to right that ship and go out there and and get a win and get ourselves into that that 1-0 conference play column.
It's going to be a big one, 7:30 kickoff at Sam Boyd. We hope you join us for that out at the stadium. We're going to give you a lot more ahead in the RebZone. Up next, we're going to sit down with senior receiver Devonte Boyd, how UNLV has raised his game and why a twist of fate changed his life forever. We're back in 2 minutes. Stick and stay.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by R.C. Willey. Your home, your way.
Devonte Boyd has been turning heads on the football field since his first day at UNLV, but it was something that happened as a boy that paved the way for him to become an all-time Rebel great.
That storm is in the form of Devonte Boyd, the senior wide receiver who bleeds Rebel red and is on the verge of shattering multiple UNLV receiving records. It's been 4 years since the basic high school grad set foot on campus, and he says his football knowledge has blown up.
I grew a lot. Coming to UNLV, I didn't know anything pretty much about football, besides the basic stuff. Different things, but just learning coverages and learning how guys are going to play me, in and out, and knowing the different schemes and just learning more about football.
But this is more about the man than the gridiron machine, because the backstory is what has shaped Boyd into what he is today.
It's been a roller coaster. It definitely had its ups, and it had a lot of downs.
A native of New Orleans, Boyd found himself in the eye of the storm, literally as a young boy. Katrina forced evacuation to Texas, and when his family returned home, the devastation hit home. Boyd credits his mom for stepping in and stepping up, making the hard decision to send her son to live with his uncle in Henderson.
I'm not happy that the hurricane hit, but it also showed me how tough my mom was, for one, and she didn't let us, be down, pretty much be soft. She definitely still pushed us and showed us that, we need to be strong out here in the real world too, because you never know what might happen. And when I came to my uncle, he just turned it up a notch.
Boyd took that tragedy and turned it into triumph, creating a path to a possible NFL career, but more importantly, getting a college education. When he graduates in May, Boyd will be the first in his family to do so.
For a long time, the standard in my family was just to finish high school. So, it makes me feel good that I could set the bar and set the standard in my family for my cousins and my nieces and nephews, and show them that, they could go to college and graduate and finish.
A man's future is shaped by his past. That's something that drives Boyd every day.
New Orleans forever will be my hometown, but I definitely have Henderson on my back.
Strange how something as disastrous as a hurricane can turn into the thing that changes a person's life for the better. Devonte Boyd did just that, because he refused and still refuses to be silent.
Just a great young man, and fun watching him just develop the way he has over the last 4 years. What are his NFL prospects?
Well, there's a lot of teams out there looking at him. He's done a great job of sharpening the sword, becoming a better football player, more intelligent football player like he talked about, and he's got courage. And that's the greatest thing about college athletics is the opportunities to provide some of these young men and young women and just to change their life. So that's an inspirational story. It fires me up.
Good thing for fans to watch as he makes his run at some Rebel records the rest of the season. We're back with the Rebel Plays of the Week right after this. Stay with us.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
So big game, Mountain West opener, San Jose State Saturday night. This is important to get off the going on the schedule right now.
Big time. We're excited to be back home, back at Sam Boyd Stadium, back in front of our home fans. Again, first game, conference game, and we're excited to go. I know our boys are chomping at the bit to get back out there.
It is going to be a big one. It's a 7:30 kickoff at Sam Boyd, so we hope you head out there and join the Rebels as they get ready for the conference season. We're going to break it all down next Sunday in the Reb Zone. Thanks for joining us for this one. We leave you tonight with a look at the Rebel Plays of the Week from Ohio State. Good night.
Let's go.
We could be legends after all. Legends after all. We could be legends after all.
The Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show was presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.